YouTube. Now then, you might have noticed I've been away for about 14 days. Don't worry, I didn't go anywhere. Wasn't on holiday or anything. I'll explain why I wasn't uploading videos in my next video. This video is a random bollocks, just to say welcome back, and it's going to be a random bollocks talking about science. Now, science plays a big part in all of our lives, which it does. Using science, we have discovered many things and created many things. We have discovered how to we can carbon date the things. We can prove when the dinosaurs existed. We've proved how old the world is, which pissed off a lot of Christians who believe the world only was created 6,000 years ago by God, and we've proved that's all a load of bollocks using science. Science has led to the cloning of sheep, which probably will become the cloning of humans. Imagine that, cloned humans. That'd be fun. Science has disproved a lot of theories about things, and we now know we can now use science to look at the very makeup of our beings, the genetic codes and the DNA of everything. We've made a giant hadron collider, and we've discovered what black holes are, and white holes, and wormholes, and all these other holes that you get in space. And we've found out what the sun is, and how many other solar systems there might be, and that sort of thing. Now, one of the things I don't like about science is when you combine science with paranormal activity. No, I don't mean the crappy series of films. I mean actual paranormal activity. You know, ghosts and poltergeists and aliens, I guess, to be, if you want to count that as paranormal. I'd say that's extraterrestrial, really, but yeah, some people count it as paranormal because they're weird. But then you got like telepathy, ESP, that's all paranormal as well. Now, when you mix science with paranormal stuff, they sort of have a few conflicts, because even though you see it with your own eyes and you hear it with your own ears and whatever, a scientist will still sit there and try and rationalise everything. Like, ooh, this thing flew across the room by itself. Maybe it didn't. Maybe there's some kind of magnetic pull from across the room which caused it to... No. You just make yourself sound stupid there, Mr. Scientist. You're meant to be intelligent. What does make me laugh is paranormal sciences. Because, I mean, I'm guessing... I mean, I don't know what paranormal science is. But, yeah, but I'm guessing, you know, can you imagine a paranormal scientist? It's like he sees things flying around and he goes, ooh, that must be a ghost. But then how's he going to rationalise it? Because scientists always rationalise everything. So it'd be great to be like, yeah, so the ghost threw that glass across the room. So, scientifically then, that states that while he was alive, he must have thrown that glass across the room for some reason that we don't know yet. But we shall find out, and we shall prove it scientifically. That sounds quite funny, actually. If I saw a paranormal scientist doing that, it'd be hilarious. Try and poke holes in his statements. They're like, oh yes, what leads you to believe this? I am a scientist, we don't believe anything. Really? But you believe in ghosts. You are a paranormal scientist, yes? Yes. Therefore, you believe in ghosts. No, scientists don't believe in it, so why are you a paranormal scientist? head explodes. But one of the things that science has done is it's changed the way we look at certain things that have happened in history. One of which being the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy was President of the United States for a while. He was the 35th President of the United States, I think. And his name was John Fitzgerald Kennedy, and I'm looking at a Wikipedia page. He did some military service and whatever, became president in 1960. Now, in 1963, people believed that JFK, well, people didn't believe it in 1963, but people believed that in 1963, JFK was assassinated by, well, he was, but by a man called Lee Harvey Oswald, who shot at him and killed him with a rifle from the Texas Book Depository. It was apparently in the 3rd floor window. Or was it the 5th floor window? No, it's the 3rd floor window, wasn't it? I'm sure it's the 3rd floor window, I can't remember now. I think it was the 3rd floor window of the Texas Book Depository, which by English definitions would be the 2nd floor, because what the Americans call the 1st floor, we actually call the ground floor, and our 1st floor is actually their 2nd floor. So by English terms, it was shot from the 2nd floor window, which could have been the 4th if it was actually the 5th. Are you confused yet? Well, basically, people believed that he fired 2 shots and killed the president, basically. Science, on the other hand, has prevailed and has proved otherwise. They did release a program about it, showing how they worked all this out. Firstly, the analysis of JFK's body indicates that he was struck 4 times, not 2. So, if Lee Harvey Oswald did fire 2 shots and kill the president, where did the other 2 shots come from? Who fired them, and why did they fire them? Okay. Now then, Lee Harvey Oswald fired the 1st shot from the Texas Book Depository, and the 2nd shot, he only inflicted minor wounds. I think he grazed his neck, or according to this program, and trajectory angles and analysis, science, analysis of trajectory and whatever, and he grazed his neck, I think. Yeah. The 2nd shot was fired from the front of JFK. I think it also inflicted a minor wound, probably a little more severe than Oswald's wound, but still minor, didn't kill him at all. No one knows where this shot came from. It is believed that it originated from the same place as the 4th shot, which we'll get to later. The 3rd shot was also fired from behind the president, but not from Lee Harvey Oswald's gun in the Texas Book Depository, but from the roof of an adjacent building, which was actually quite tall, and therefore this is 3 gunmen who all fired at the president. The 4th shot came from the front and slightly to the right of the president, which is the shot that fatally wounded him, as in the shot that caused him to die later, because he didn't die in the car, he died later. Yeah. Now this 4th shot was fired at pretty much a straight angle. It wasn't like angled down or angled up. Like it'd be angled up, it was just laid in the middle of the road. So that shot was fired from pretty much level and just slightly to the right of the president. Now the only place that was level and slightly to the right of the president and was close enough but further enough away to do the right amount of damage, whatever that the bullet did, the gunman would have to have stood behind what is known as the grassy knoll. And it is science that has decreed that this person also fired the second shot. I think. I forgot whether he fired the second shot or not. I know the second shot came from the front, but I don't know if it came from the same place as the first shot, but I think it did. So, it was the guy behind the grassy knoll that actually murdered the president. And Lee Harvey Oswald and this other chap that no one knows from the other building only wounded him. Therefore, there was a mysterious gunman behind the grassy knoll who murdered the president. And scientists have worked this out using trajectory analysis and all this crap that I don't understand. I understand most of it, but some of it just boggles my mind. I mean, I'm not the most intelligent person in the world. Maybe if I ask Stephen Hawking, he can tell me. I would not tell you if you were the last man alive. And I don't know why Stephen Hawking now has a slight Irish accent. But yeah. So, science has worked that out. Now, many conspiracy theorists believed that the grassy knoll played a very prominent role in the assassination of JFK. And it's interesting to find out that in fact the grassy knoll did play an important part in the assassination of JFK, because the fatal shot was fired from there. Now, this is the non-science bit. If that conspiracy theory is actually correct, how many other conspiracy theories are actually correct? Now, what we do know about JFK was that he was somehow involved with the mafia, and he was president. So, I think, yeah. So there are conspiracy. Sorry, I'm yawning. Yeah. There are conspiracy theories that say that maybe he did something wrong with the mafia, and therefore they killed him. Or maybe the government didn't like the fact that he was employed with the mafia and the president, so they decided to kill him. Who knows? I don't know, and I doubt we'll ever know. Because we're guessing that most of the people that would have been involved back then are probably either really old or really dead by now. So we'll probably never know unless someone digs up a tape from somewhere of one of the assassins saying, yes, this is why we're going to kill the president. Now, regardless of who this guy was that fired the fatal shot, and regardless of who this other guy was that was on the building of the adjacent building to the Texas Book Depository, on the roof of that building, sorry, the question remains, why did Lee Harvey Oswald fire a shot at the president in the first place? I guess this we will never find out either, because Lee Harvey Oswald is dead. Now, moving swiftly on back to the science. science has also done something else that I wanted to mention, but I can't remember what it is now. I'm gonna have to start writing these things down. Well, we'll carry on talking about science and conspiracy theories until I figure out what the hell it was. That was it. Noah's Ark. Science has proved that Noah's Ark was a bag of wank. Not literally, but like the story was a bag of wank. Because according to religious sources and whatever, there was this chap called Noah who built an ark made of gopher wood, whatever that is, and he built this ark big enough to hold 2 of every species of animal or creature or bird or whatever in the entire world. Now, starting with the easiest things, his boat, according to the religious sources, his boat was sorry, again. His boat was so many cubits long, so many cubits wide, and so many cubits tall, which translates into today's sizes as being quite big. I haven't quite got any information of that. I'll search for it, but I'll keep talking while I'm searching for it. Now, Noah's Ark apparently held 2 of every creature in the world. First of all, to get 2 of every creature in the world, Noah would have to go around the world collecting these creatures, or send people around the world collecting these creatures. Now, to go around the world collecting all these creatures would take quite a bit of time, especially back in the days when this was meant to happen, because we didn't have commercial boat travel and whatever. You couldn't just jump on a plane or anything and just fly across to Africa, pick up a couple of lions and come back again. And various other animals. Plus, here we go, we've got this information here. Noah's Ark was made of gopher wood, whatever that is. I don't know what gopher wood is. I'm just gonna open that in the new page. It had 3 decks and lots of internal compartments. It was 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high, and the entrance was on the side, apparently. What that's got to do with it, I have no idea. So, Noah built this ark out of gopher wood. No idea what gopher wood is here. Apparently it's squared timber or smoothed planed wood. Right. So yeah, you had to make it out of smooth wood, basically. Right, a cubit is a unit of length based on the length of the forearm from the elbow. to the tip of the middle finger. Right then. So if a cubit is the length from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger, then a cubit to each different person is going to be different, because people have longer and shorter arms. So if we translate that into up-to-date measurements, I'd say my arm from my elbow to my middle finger, tip of my middle finger, I can't be asked to work it out. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it's half a meter. So a cubit is half a meter, which means that this boat would have been 150 meters long, 25 meters wide, and 15 meters high. Now, the ability to build a boat that big back in those days was already something quite difficult. Secondly, a boat that big would still not be big enough to hold two of every creature, because like giraffes and things that obviously did exist back then, giraffes and things are quite big, and you can't just stick them in a tiny little room. So I've been wanting to squeeze that spot all day, and now I wish I hadn't. So, apart from the fact that his boat was too big but also not big enough, you with me so far? He wasn't able to carry all the animals. Now, scientists have discovered that the amount of different creatures that were around back then was a bloody shitload. Wasn't quite as many as is around now, but there were around about, let's say ballpark figure, let's say there was 1 million of them, which means he would have 2 million creatures on this boat of his that was too small but also too big. So he had 2 million creatures on a boat that was too small but too big. And he would also need food for these creatures. Yeah. And water, I guess. And again, there would be water everywhere because there's a fucking flood, apparently. So he never ran out of water, would he? So he needed the means to feed and maintain these creatures' lives. Also, simply a male and a female of a specific creature isn't enough to repopulate a species, because all the offspring will be brothers and sisters, and therefore they would all be inbred. So we'd have inbred cats, we'll have inbred dogs, we'll have inbred sheep, horses, giraffes, lions, tigers, whatever. They'll all be inbred. So we'd actually need more than 2 for a start. Apparently the formula for working out how to repopulate species is like sort of like 9 men and 5 women or something. So we would actually need 9 male animals and 5 female animals of each particular species, not just one of each. So yeah. And the amount of water that was in the clouds circulating the earth, which they all believed was flat, not round. Fucking Christians. The amount of water in the clouds would not be sufficient enough to cause a massive worldwide flood. Also, the continents and whatever, and the all the different countries would not be in the same places as they are now because of the movement of tectonic plates. We all learned about tectonic plates in geography. Back when Noah's Ark was supposed to have happened, the countries would have been in slightly different places, and certain ones would be higher or lower than others. Which means that this worldwide flood that covered all the land would never happen. Because some land would be higher than others, and especially mountains would stick out a shitload above the water, and there wasn't enough water in the clouds anyway to cause a flood of that scale worldwide. So, not only is this boat too big to have been built, it's also too small to hold all the animals. He didn't have enough animals to repopulate every species. He didn't have enough space to put food for these animals, and there wasn't enough water in the clouds to cause a massive worldwide flood. Thank you, science, for telling us all that. Thus we have disproved that Noah's Ark was plausible, and therefore we have pretty much proved that Noah's Ark never happened. Now, other things about science that we've used science to prove things is there's a little known person who was Indian, I think. Not Indian as in but Indian as in red blood on the head, and I believe in reincarnation. Yeah, that kind of Indian. That's a very stereotypical thing, but that kind of Indian. I think that's actually Pakistanis that have the red spot. Indians sort of make that red mark, don't they? With their thumb. I don't know. I'm not up with different religions. But anyway, that kind of Indian. There's a young boy, I can't remember his name now, but he actually came up with, using science or whatever, he came up with a cure for cancer. Yeah, cured cancer. Many forms of cancer, probably all forms of cancer, I don't know. Or maybe just a certain form of cancer, but you can use that research to cure other forms of cancer. Now, since revealing to the world that this boy had invented a cure for cancer, one thing has happened, and only one thing. He's disappeared. But I don't mean he just vanished into thin air. I mean, like, he revealed that he had a cure for cancer, and then we never heard from him again. Or heard about him again. So, and with this spawned many new conspiracy theories. Maybe governments got together and shut him up, and whatever, because governments want us all to die of cancer to keep the population down. There's all sorts of conspiracy theories about it. But he used science to make a cure for cancer. And we have also used science and mechanics, I guess, to make things like water-powered cars, solar-powered cars, wind turbines, and all sorts of things. We have invented this thing now. It's a fan without blades in it. It blows without having blades to spin round to make the current. And there's a group of people in America somewhere, I think they're in America somewhere, or in Canada, one or the other. They're called Power Labs. They have a website, and I will put a link to the website in this in the link description to this video, along with the Wikipedia links that I got most of this information from about Noah's Ark and stuff. In case you want to go along and check. Not that you would want to go and check out Noah's Ark, but yeah. But these guys called Paralabs, and they have used science and their brains and construction and the study of electricity and all these other things, which is science again, isn't it? Electric is science. And so they've used all these things in a scientific way, and they've built things like Tesla coils, plasma globes, coil guns, disc shooters, can crushers, Gauss guns, nitrogen cannons, and the pinnacle of excellence, well, I say the pinnacle of excellence, the railgun. They've actually built a small, working, electrical powered railgun using science. So science is a pretty big thing in everyday life. It's basically what I'm saying here. And everywhere you look, you can see science. Because science is everywhere. It's in the very air you breathe. Literally. Because scientists have discovered what's actually in the air you breathe, using the periodic table and stuff. I've no idea where the periodic table originated from. It's like no one knows. It just suddenly appeared. All these little elements. So yeah, I mean, science is everywhere you look. Even your eyes are technically science because they're part of your body, which is created by DNA, which has been discovered using science. Glass is made using science. Anything mechanical has been made using science, I guess. My mobile phone, science. My laptop is science. My camera is science. You are watching this on your computer or your laptop, which is science. Your computer mouse is science. Circuit boards are science. Cups of coffee are science. Cups are science. Everything around you, wherever you look, mirrors, lights, beds, are science. Your hairsprays, your deodorants, your aftershave, your shavers, the electrical ones, your bottle of whiskey, your bottle of rum, your bottle of vodka, your can of beer, your White Lightning cider is all science. Everywhere, everything is science. And scientifically speaking, it's getting on my wick. And one other thing that science has done, which I love when like science disproves Christian things. Obviously, science and exploration using science has told us that the world is in fact round and not flat. Because years ago, back when the Bible was invented, because it was invented, it wasn't written by apostles many years ago who followed Jesus around as he did magic. When the Bible was first envisioned and created so many hundreds of years ago, the Bible was written on the pretext of currently existing knowledge, basically. And so Christians back then believed the world was flat, as everybody else also believed the world was flat. And so, using science in today's society, we proved that the world is in fact round, which means that the Bible and lots of people from back then are a bunch of thick cunts and do not know right from wrong. Because surely if the God created the world and everything in it, everything on it, created man and created animals and whatever, then surely God would know the world was round because he created it. And surely then Christians who were spoken to by God apparently would know that the world was round, and therefore they wouldn't have wrote down in their little books that the world was flat. So yeah, so science pissed on your bonfire, didn't it, Christians? Now, as I previously mentioned, I don't like when science is trying to rationalise UFO sightings and ghostly activity and that sort of thing, because you can't rationalise that, because you can't prove or disprove what people see or hear. People have made video recordings of ghostly activity, things flying around the room and that sort of thing, and scientists have been trying to rationalise it for years, to no avail. You can't rationalise something that you have no knowledge about. Yeah. So I just couldn't remember whether that's the sentence I wanted to say or not. Yeah, you can't really rationalise something if you don't know the facts. I mean, science is based on facts. We use the facts to prove or disprove whatever is being said. Like, we use the fact that the earth is round to disprove Christian belief from years ago that the world was flat, you see. And we used facts about measurements and size and whatever to disprove the existence and use of Noah's Ark. And we've used the fact of, and the science of, trajectory analysis and whatever to work out that JFK was actually murdered by someone else, not Lee Harvey Oswald. But we can't use facts of whatever to prove that ghosts don't exist, because there aren't any facts that we can go on. Same with the existence of aliens. Now, there are many people who are under the impression that aliens and ghosts do exist. There are people who say aliens and ghosts don't exist. There are people who say aliens exist but ghosts don't. And there are people who say the ghosts exist but aliens don't. Now, I'm one of those people who say that ghosts exist because I've seen them. And I also say aliens exist, not because I've seen them, but because I've seen unidentified flying objects. And the term unidentified flying object doesn't normally just mean a spaceship. It means an unidentified object that is flying. It is an object you see flying that you cannot identify. And when something flies over you in an erratic pattern, making no sound, and then suddenly just flies off at a 90-degree angle to its original trajectory, I don't think you can use science and rationalise that and say, oh, it was a plane. Because if you've got something flying like this, and then it suddenly just goes, obviously it's not a plane, because planes do not go. Well, not any planes I've seen anyway. And so, yeah, so I'm one of these people that says aliens and ghosts exist. And science will never disprove the existence of them. I mean, conspiracy theorists believe that there are aliens in Area 51 and a captured spaceship and whatever. So therefore, if that is correct, and we'll never know, but if that is correct, then aliens do exist, and those people who say they don't, or try and rationalise everything, are talking bollocks. However, there is no way to prove that aliens don't exist unless we go out there and start exploring space. So I guess we should go out there and start exploring space pretty quickly and find out if aliens exist. Now, this video was made in 2012, so I'm guessing if this video is still around, and the internet is still around, and YouTube is still around, then maybe in a few thousand years, if mankind is still alive, in the year 2525, if mankind is still alive. Nah, good song that is. I'll have to download that, I think. Yeah, mankind's still around. Maybe we've evolved by then, who knows. Whatever sentient race exists on this planet, then, if you're watching this, then maybe you will know whether aliens exist or not, because hopefully you will have explored and found out by then. I think 600 years is enough time to build a ship capable of flying through space and coming back again. I mean, we've built like space shuttles and things that can fly outside the atmosphere of the planet and orbit them and then come back again. So surely the next step would be to make one that can go further and still be able to come back. Maybe instead of wasting all that money building this giant Airbus that holds more passengers than the 747 and whatever, and doing all these other stupid things that don't need to be done, maybe we could be putting our funds into space exploration. And of course that ties nicely back into the first thing we talked about, which was John F. Kennedy. Because it was down to John F. Kennedy, among other people, that America won the space race. So, yeah. So thank you for watching this video about science, and as always, your views are welcome and will be respected. But please don't post any comments like, "You're a dick because you're bad-mouthing Christianity," or, you know, and don't make racist comments, that sort of thing, because they would just be deleted. I'm not one of these people that will block you for making a racist comment, but I will warn you and remove your comment, and if you continue doing it, then you will be blocked. And there are certain other users on YouTube that use the same sort of system. They'll warn you first, and if you still carry on being a dick, they'll block you. I think Scorch82 is one of those people. I've noticed that he does warn you about your language, the way about what comments you're making, and of course if you continue doing it, he will block you. But I guess he does. He sometimes put comments saying, "Well, you are blocked now." I think I can't remember now, but yeah. So I work on that basis. So I mean, all views and opinions are welcomed and respected, but don't start being racist or whatever, or sexist, or, you know, that sort of thing. Discrimination is a big issue, and I don't like it. So, yeah. So, feel free to leave your comments on the assassination of JFK and the existence of Noah's Ark and aliens and ghosts and conspiracy theories and space exploration and scientific progression. That's 7 pretty interesting things to talk about there. Or was it 6? I have to go back and count them again now. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. And I've just noticed, because I haven't been looking at my screen, my video feed from the camera, I've just noticed it's fucking dark in here. Well, who wants to see my face anyway? Oh dear, I'm going to have to stop saying things like that. I'm apparently not as ugly as I make out. But then we're all like that, aren't we? But that's a whole other video. So, yeah, I'll leave you on that note, and you'll see me again soon. Hopefully.